Welcome, listeners, to another episode of the Immigrant Experience in America podcast. Thank you for joining. Today, we have a very interesting episode for you. Dr. Charles, welcome. The title of your memoir stopped me the moment I read it. Not just an immigrant. Before we go into your story, I want to start there. What is the not just doing in that title? What were you pushing against when you first chose those words?
Good morning, Simon, and thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure. Not just an immigrant, it's a book that I wrote to tell people to stop a little bit, to be quiet a little bit, and listen to some part of our story. I do believe that if you didn't walk the walk of an immigrant, there's some part that you will never comprehend. But when people see us, most of the time, they see just the accent, they see, our culture that we bring, they see the whatever they think that we are not doing or we are doing in their country, but they don't see us as a full package. Because most of us, I'm Asian, I came from Haiti. And right now we are in the state, most of us, just because of security reason. So when I came here, when I moved here, I moved with my children, but I also moved with my knowledge. I moved with everything that I am. I had a life there. I was working, I was building. I move with all of that in my head. So when you see me, don't just see an immigrant, someone that just came to invade your country, because that's not who we are. We are not just immigrant. We are bridges. We are cultures. We are people. Because sometimes you have the impression as as an immigrant, when you're talking to someone, they don't see you as the person you are. But we have identity, we have values. We are not just immigrant. We are a full package.
Very well said. Thank you. And I'm echoing that right behind you. Very well said. I love that title. So take me back to the beginning of your journey from Haiti to the United States. What do you remember most vividly about that transition?
Okay. So my journey with the United States has two steps, because I was here in 2015. I lived here for 3 years. Then I went back home just because I felt like I was more needed back home. So I was already a doctor at that time, but because of a death threat that I received, I said, okay, let me come and, see if I can live here. But I chose to move back, and I started to do the work that I know I was called to do. But the because of the security reason, and as a mom, sometimes you have to look beyond whatever you are building professionally. And I remember I was working in Haiti in one of the most dangerous area. I was working in Artibonite, and that's where one of the most deadliest gang, and I talk about that in my book. That's where they are located. So seeing that, sometimes I would spend weeks, even months, without seeing my children. Now, one day, look at it. As a mom, you are talking to your children. There's no way that you can go to them because all the words are blocked. But you are calling them and you are hearing gunshots outside of your house. You are hearing that people are getting killed outside of my house where my children were. Mind you, they were, I have three children. So one was five, no, one was, I think Aiden was 8, Abby was 4, and my youngest was 2 at that time. So they were inside the house. My husband couldn't get home. They were in the house with 2 helpers that we had at that time. So imagine I'm working, my children are still in the house. My husband is at his workplace. That's traumatizing for a mom, knowing that you are doing your best. I was working for the United Nations, so, and I've read a little bit about you. You know, when we work for the United Nations, we are good. We are good. And I didn't have, the need to move here if it wasn't for my children, for our security. And when that happened, I had to call someone. He was always riding a motorcycle. I had to call him because I couldn't find anyone else. And I thank God. That's why I said, people, you need to be good to other people because you never know who could help you in a situation. And I thank God I knew that man because he was the one that came in my house, took my children, brought them to a safer place so I can come and get them. Now I had to call my bosses and tell them, look, I need to go home and get my children because I can't work. I want to give my whole in this work, but I need to know also that my kids are safe. So I had to go home and, get them. I got my children and they came live with me for a while, but they couldn't go to school because the same city I was working in, from time to time they would start a riot, they would start a protest, they would start something, and I'm like, God, this is not safe for me. This is not safe for my children. And I could see how my kids were traumatized. Even when we moved here, whenever they hear a noise, they will come and grab me because they were so scared. So it's not only me in the situation, but it's my children because I'm a grown up. There's things that I can bear. But seeing my kids living like that was unbearable for me. And I think that's what really motivated me to move to the United States.
Oh, okay. So as you mentioned the United Nations, give us a little bit about your professional background and what's the time period that you're referring to when you say this was all happening in Haiti. We know in recent years there was an assassination. Then there was a big issue with gang issues going on. So give us a time period of what you were referring to specifically.
Okay. So I started to work for the United Nations is in 2021, where I worked mostly for UNICEF, and I was a nutrition officer. Then I became an emergency officer for them. So it was around after the death of the president, because the president was assassinated in 2021. So after his death, I started to work for the United Nations. The situation was not as bad as it is today, but it was never, stable. It was never quiet, really, when I started to work there. Actually, I moved back to Haiti in 2018. So since 2018, I can tell you that it has been on and off, where we have, a little bit of stability, then everything will start back. And so it was never a quiet moment in Haiti. And that work, with the United Nations, the work that I did was, I will have to go places and meet with different organizations, where we were supporting their activities and make sure that the leaders have whatever they need to do the work with the community. So moving from one area to another, from because I was working mostly in the northern part of Haiti. So I moved a lot in my job. I saw a lot, and one of the worst thing, was the gang activities and the gang violence that was there at that time where I was working. So when I moved here in the state in 2024, late 2024, I was still working for them remotely for certain time, but it was quieter because I wasn't in the action part, but still I stayed connected with the community and follow the work, whatever they were doing over there.
Okay, that's good. That's good that you had employment with them after moving to the US. So your memoir touches on identity and rebuilding a life beyond borders. What part of your identity did you feel you had to set down or protect hardest when you arrived?
When I when I arrived in the United States, now remember I talk about two steps of me living in the United States. So the first time I didn't really understand who I was at that time. Now the second time I moved, it's like I came ready. I came with my mission. I knew who I was because if you saw it in the book, faith is really, really important for me. My relationship with God is really important for me. And in my younger age, I went through different type of abuse. So when you go through abuse like that, you lose yourself. It took really good work to get your identity back, to know who you are. And I knew that my identity, I get it from God. I know who I am because of God, of what God says about me. But when you are in an immigration process, sometimes you tend to forget who you are because your circumstances, remember, you have to live your life, whatever you were building, you live there. You come to a new country, a new culture, new challenges, new situation. Every day you are facing something new with your immigration situation. So it's easy for you to forget who you are because when you meet the setback, all you think of, I'm not enough. I I thought I had worth, but it seems like I don't have any. I thought I can do it, but it seems like I can't. Why me? You are questioning everything. But because I knew who I am, I always come back to God and say, Father, I know what you says about me. I know. Even though I don't speak the language well, even though my accent is heavy, even though I feel like people don't understand us, I know who I am. And I'm not going to let that. I may be different than everybody. I say, if you see me, you see an Asian flag, that's on you, that's not on me. Because as a child of God, and as a child of
Okay,
God,
I think
that's
I
who I
just lost you
present
there.
to the
I
world.
lost you there for the last 30, maybe
Yes.
15 to 30 seconds. Can you repeat what you just said? When you see me?
Yes. I said whenever people see me, if they see an Asian first, not on me. Because before, all I saw about myself was okay, I'm Asian, I was abused, I don't have no worth and everything. But because I went through that process of healing and of being of knowing who I was in God. That's what I present to the world. So for me, it doesn't matter who you see first. My identity is rooted in Christ, and I thank God that I brought that with me, and I'm keeping it. Nobody can take that away from me.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So you're mentioning two periods that you were here in the US
Can you
in
hear me?
2018, and then, are you hearing me?
Yes.
You mentioned two periods, 2018. So can you talk about the first time, and then I guess you came back the second time with your children after 2021. I think we're a little bit lost with the different dates and reasons for being in the US for those two periods.
Okay. So the first time I came, I wasn't married at that time. I didn't have any children at that time. I just came back from France, from a training because I I was about to become, because I love teaching also. So I was teaching at one of the biggest university in Haiti. So they sent me to France to get a training. So after I came back with everything that I got from there, I started to implement things. Then I received a death threat. So after someone tell you that they want to kill you, you and you don't know who that person was. So I went to the police, did what I had to do, but at the same time, I told myself that I need to, to stay low for a moment. That's why I moved to the state, because I had a visa at that time. So I came here and still figured out, what I want to do with my life and everything. I remember I had a conversation with my mom, and I was telling her, I'm just going to wait until everything is quiet so I can go back. But she said, no. She said, I don't want that. And you know how Caribbean parents are. Like, even if you're 25, they think they still controlling your life. And she's like, I paid for your medical school. It doesn't matter to me if if everything is lost, because at the end of the day, I want you to stay alive. So I listened to her, and I stayed here for 3 years. So in the meantime, I got married, and my husband was still living in Haiti. He was working, so he was going back and forth. So after 3 years, and because the police didn't have any, good conclusion about the situation, I said, you know what, I'm gonna move back, and maybe I will try to get work outside of Port-au-Prince where I was living, and live quietly. So that's what I did. I moved there, and I really worked out of town most of the time. But what I previously explained to you about my children happened in 2023, by the end of 2023. So that's why in 2024, I moved back with my children, because just because I couldn't see the way they were living at that time. I hope it's clear.
Right. No, I can't imagine being so restricted by your security, safety, your children not being able to go to school, you're receiving that threat, and it just controls everything that you do in your life. My gosh. Thanks for sharing that with us. And I'm glad that you are in a better place now, and that you are, hopefully, your children are in school. Um, they're growing and learning, and you feel much safer in your new environment.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you.
So you went on to build a career in global public health with UNICEF, right? Looking back, do you see a thread between the girl who left Haiti and the woman who ended up doing that work? Was public health always there? or did your own journey pull you there?
I think when I started to med school in Haiti, I wanted to work with children. I wanted to be a pediatrician. And I think that was shaped just because my mind was shaped like that, just because I had a good one when I was growing up. I remember him until now. I was 5, and he asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I said I want to be a doctor like you because I love your blouse. I love the way you are. But I do love serving people. I do love teaching and taking care of people. And I went to med school. I did. I had my mind set up until I started to do, clinical rotation. And I'm like, I don't know, but I don't want to do that for the rest of my life. I love serving, I love helping, but I'm a better teacher. I feel like I would be more useful if I start to teach. And I think that's where I've been struggling a little bit. Because one thing also that parents do in the Caribbean, they will put the guilt on you. For them, you have to be this type of professional in order for them to feel satisfied and everything. So it has been a struggle with my mom mostly because she couldn't understand why I didn't want to wear the blouse, the scrub every single day. But I said, I don't feel like that's what God wants me to do. And that's why I go, I went to community work mostly. I work with the Ministry of Health in Haiti for certain time. And I mostly work in the nutrition department. So that's where UNICEF will came later on. And every nonprofit that I will work to, I was always in the community, teaching, educating, helping, working on program management instead of the clinical side of medicine until I end up with the United Nations where I did the same work but at a higher level. When I moved here in the state, I wanted to go into, to transfer my credit into a nursing one. And I studied the school. But I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it because I left the clinical in Haiti. I will not do something just for the money. I have to find the passion in what I'm doing. I know nursing is a steady path in the United States, but I want to be able to love what I do. And I say, let me go back to my love, which is community work. So that's why I got a certificate in community health work. I did that for a time. Then I got my certification with John Maxwell in coaching, speaking, and training. And I decided that I would become a leadership development coach to help actually women in transition in their life, women struggling with identity and purpose. So that's where all of this came from.
Wow, completely different from med school. I can see how your mom could say, "What? You're doing what now
Yeah,
with all that
yeah.
work that you put in?"
It was a fight. Mhm. Yes, yes.
Yes, I totally
And I can
understand.
tell you, she still doesn't understand what I'm doing. She still doesn't understand what I'm doing. When I tell her, Mommy, I'm a coach, what are you what are you doing? What is that? She's still, I said, I'm helping women. Now, the feedback that she has is the fact that people are calling her and tell her, oh, your daughter helped me. Even people in her church, like sometimes they will call me and ask me for advice and everything, or they will follow me on Facebook and listen to my teaching and everything because I teach in English and I teach in Creole. also. So they will listen to me and they will call her, and she will be, the proud mom and say, "Oh, people call me, and it seems like what you're doing is important." I say, "Yes, mom, it's important. It's not, putting the stethoscope, or do whatever we do in med school, but I'm helping people. You have to be sure of that. And I'm pretty sure I'm doing what God wants me to do. So I'm good."
Right. And gladly, the U.S. marketplace is such that there are so many meaningful ways that one can find purpose and express themselves. It's not just the lawyer, doctor, or engineer. Apparently, that might be the three avenues in certain countries that are, how do I put it, high paying, um, revered by people in society, seen as you've arrived, right? And so, not
Yes,
every, if
yes,
we all become lawyers, doctors, and engineers, my gosh, who will do the rest of the work for the society to run is what I keep asking.
yes.
But, well, kudos to you for finding what drives you, what you feel like is your own God calling. So
Thank you. Thank you.
speaking of calling, you name faith specifically as part of this story. What role did this faith play in the hardest part of rebuilding your life in a new country?
I think this is my foundation. This is really, I don't know what I would do without being a child of God. I'm not even saying a Christian, because there's a difference. Um, Being a child of God has taught me resilience, has taught me courage, boldness, and we need that as immigrant. We need to stand up for ourselves, and faith is everything to me. I always say to people, take everything that I have, don't touch my faith, don't touch my relationship with God, because that's how I can take care of my children by myself while my husband is still in Haiti. That's how I can manage what I call in the books the three B's, which is bedtime, books, and bills. It's only take my faith in God. And when you look at the situation for the Asian people right now, people are turning to me to get hope, to get courage, to get prayers, to get understanding of situation. Mind you, I'm in the situation also. I'm an immigrant. I'm an Asian myself, but I think they can see me as someone that can help them in this situation. Just because I know who I am, and my situation actually doesn't define me, and that's why I teach to the women that I talk to, the leaders I talk to. Our situation doesn't define us. My relationship with God does. So whatever is going on, sometimes I can feel down. We are human, that happens. Sometimes I just feel like staying in my bed because I just can't bear whatever is coming. But I know I can go to someone and tell him, "Father, I feel alone. I feel sad. I feel like I can't do it today. Just help me." So that's where I get the strength to do whatever I'm doing while taking care of my children. And also, even if I'm afar, caring for my husband, because I have to be there for him. My husband has been changing houses different times because of the security reason. So, being a mom here, being a wife away from your husband, knowing that he's living a different situation than you, and living with all the challenges out there, the system that you need to understand, the culture that you need to understand, just proving and proving and proving yourself. Sometime, you know, it's only take faith. It's only takes faith to for me. to be able to do it.
So there's a large echo of the situation that's going on in Haiti throughout our conversation today. Can you give our guest and me as well, give us a sense for daily life in Haiti after the decline? When did it happen? What were the root causes? What's still driving it? There's been so many people who have left. I know of some people who've left like you did and are now here in the US. And I know somebody who actually moved back and was there for quite a number of years, got married, started raising their children there, and they literally left. So things must have gotten really bad after the assassination. Give us a sense for life in Haiti on a daily basis for people who are trying to stay, to work, to earn, and to, live a regular life every day. Give us a sense for that.
Okay. I would tell you truly there's different level when we talk about living in Haiti right now. And as you mentioned it, things, got worse after the president died, because that's when we started to have all the kidnappings and all the riots and everything. But the gang weren't so violent. They were, let's say undercover. They were in one area. So everybody knows, okay, we're not going in this area. But as days, passed and even years passed, we saw an explanation of gang violence, and it became, every part of Port-au-Prince. Because the thing is with Haiti, everything important that you have to do, you have to go to Port-au-Prince to do it. Most of the thing. Even if I need a passport, I can start the process in my hometown, but I need to go to Port-au-Prince for the signature, even sometimes to get the passport. So the gang violence mostly is located in Port-au-Prince, but we have seen little spot in the country, in Artibonite where I was working, some part of the south, we have seen gang being raised there. Now, if I were to talk about the daily life for let's say Asian like me as a professional, it's depend on what I do. I was working for the United Nations. I know that, I have some type of protection. There's some places they won't let you to go, and they give you different resources to do your work. But for someone that is working, for example, for school or for a bank, sometimes they are on their own, and they have to leave their house. My husband, for example, is working for a bank. The house that we built, he had to leave that house, go rent another house closer to his job. Then he got transferred to another place. He had to rent another one because he can't go from that house that he rented before to the new location. So that's what his everyday look like. Now let's take an Asian that is not, that is at the lowest position, let's say it that way. Someone that doesn't have a work, or that just live their day by day, that don't have a lot. These people are going from places to places because most of the time they are living in the worst condition, and the gang are most concentrated in this area. That's why we have been having a lot of people displaced from one place to another, from one city to another. And the numbers are on any United Nations website. You can go, you will find numbers of how many people in Haiti that has been displaced from one area to another, just because of the gang violence. And it's mostly the gang violence, now the kidnapping stopped for or let's say not stopped, but lessened for a while. But now it's rampant again. And besides that, you have the needs, the humanitarian crisis that comes with all the displacement. People don't have food, kids can't go to school. You have sexual abuse that is really, really, really horrible there that is happening. And people are going, to different countries. They are sending them back, and it's a lot. And people are dying every day. That's the worst part. People are dying every day, and it's paining me because Haiti is a young country. Our population is very young. In the public side, you have a lot of people that are dying, but in the even in the gang, I'm not I'm not when I'm seeing them, I am aching, Simon, just because when I see them, I see little brothers. They are young, and I said, God, I'm pretty sure you didn't send them on this earth to do what they are doing. So I know also Haiti's strength is going with these young boys, because when you get in a gang, the only thing that is waiting for you if you don't repent, if you don't turn your life around, is death. So as Miles Monroe said, in the graveyard, there's a lot of books that are not written. There's a lot of, great men, great women that because whatever was inside of them were never came out because they chose the wrong path. And it's paining me. It's paining me as a mom. It's paining me as a sister because I have laid the project. My brothers had to flee Haiti the same way I did. Now they flee. They left Haiti after me. One of them left last year because he loved the country so much. He wanted to build there so much. He's a businessman. Everything that he's doing was in Haiti. But they came to my mom's house after him to kill him. So that's when he decided I can't stay anymore, and he left. So it's really hard when you see also all the potential that you have. One thing that happened with immigration, sometimes you have to shrink yourself. You have to devalue yourself just to fit in, because people will call you pride or arrogant if you show everything that you are. So sometimes in order for you to have a safe place, a safe job, you just fit in. You just fit in. But when you know that you are a physician, you can help. You have experiences, you can teach, you can educate people. There's a lot you can do in your country. This also pain me sometimes. I am safer now with my children, but my heart is still with my country because I know all I could do if I was in Haiti.
Wow, I can imagine. And I think all of us, as hyphenated Americans, immigrant hyphenated Americans, carry something within us where we want to have social impact, to give back to the places where we were born, to help them grow and become better. But in the case of Haiti, when security and safety is so dire and it seems to be out of control, what can you do, right? But pray, right? And I do wish and hope that Haiti gets to see a safer day, a better day. My gosh, it's gone through so much over the decades. And, us on the other side from Jamaica, I think we all are just hoping for some stability at some point, for things to change. Um, yeah, but we'll continue to send prayers up for Haiti, yes? So, motherhood is also central to your memoir. I heard some knocking on the door, and I thought that was probably one of your kids knocking while you're still talking. How did
Yes.
becoming a mother change the way you understood your own immigration story? Did you start seeing your parents or yourself differently?
I think it's both. It's both. I remember one day I asked my mom a question and she said, even if I answer you now, you will understand. You will understand when you become a mom. And now I got what she meant that day. So I always says that I respect my mom more now. I love my mom. I always respected her, but now it came from a place of, experience. So I get to experience what she went through. And I remember I was in school in Haiti. My mom made sure that I got a great education. So we will drive 1 hour every day to get me to school. Then at noon, she would come sometime in the school to bring me lunch, my 1 hour. She would go back home, make sure we have food ready and everything. And then when I get home, I have everything that I need. And then when it was time for me to go to, because I studied high school in my hometown also, I was in a non school in Haiti, in a Catholic school. And in the Caribbean, Catholic school are good school. So I studied my high school in my own hometown, and she said, I will take you to Port-au-Prince because I want you to have a good education. My father wasn't, he didn't agree because he didn't want to send me away. I was young and I understood. But I also saw my mom fighting for me to get the best. And even for medical school, I went to a private university, not the state one. So kudos to my mom. She did it all. And I will always be grateful for what she did to me. And as a mom now, she gave me the courage to stand and to do whatever I can for my children. I was talking to my oldest the other day. She's just 9. And I was telling her, she's always asking questions about me, my story, where I met daddy, how life was when I was growing up and everything. And I was telling her about the life I lived in Haiti before we recently moved here. And I said to her, I love my job. I really loved. I really and working for UNICEF was a dream since I was 15 years old. I wrote that in my journal. So when I got this job, I knew that it was an answered prayer. But I said to her, because your safety comes first, I have to make the sacrifice and come. So I understand that being a mom requires a lot of sacrifices. Being a mom requires selfless love, and it requires also a lot of faith because sometimes you don't know if what you're doing is the right thing for your kids. You don't know that. You don't know. You may say, okay, I'm doing whatever I can. And that's why whatever value I'm teaching, the women I'm teaching, the people, I'm teaching, I teach the same to my children because I understand that I may not be able to give them whatever they want financially, but if I give them great values, if I teach them how to navigate their world, because they will always be children of immigrant. They will always be immigrant. So I have to make sure that they embrace both sides of who they are. And it's a difficult world. It's a difficult work to do as a mom. Navigate that for yourself first, and then teach your children. But I said, children are gift from God, but they are also people that God entrusted us with. We have to steward them well. And I say, God, because you gave them to me, you teach me how to raise them, not according to the Asian culture, not according to the American culture, because sometimes there's stuff you are dealing with, it doesn't go in the Asian culture, it doesn't go also in the American culture. You don't know where you stand as a mom. So I said, God, you teach me how to raise these three kids. And I know I will give them back to you as, as the people that you want them to be. So that's where I stand when it comes also to my motherhood.
Yes. Wow, that's beautiful. Yes, we all make those sacrifices and choices daily. We juggle the decision. Am I making the right choice? Being here in the US, it seems glamorous. You can earn more and everything, but you also are sacrificing identity and the type of exposure to your home culture that your children can have. So every day they're here, every year they're here, they're losing out on the opportunity of being immersed fully in their home culture, in their parents' home culture, in the heritage home culture. So it's always a sacrifice on so many levels. But thanks for sharing that. So resilience gets used as a buzzword a lot. What does resilience actually look like in your story? Not the highlight version of it or but the unglamorous day-to-day version of, like, how do you keep going? Your husband is across in Haiti in a situation that's not really safe. Your children are here, you guys are separated. How do you stay resilient?
My second chapter in the book is called Alone but Not Broken, where I talk a little bit about this separation journey with my husband, which is not easy because we're still married. I still have my husband, so it's not like we split, but we just apart for some time, and it takes. You asked me what resilience look like for me. I will tell you quickly. It's just this voice inside of me that tells me, stand up again, Linda. You can do it. It's okay to rest. It's okay to feel down for a moment, but you can do it. And that's that's what keeps me going. Because I know that even if I feel depressed, I feel down for a moment, that the strength will come back. It will come back and I will stand again. When it was time for me to move here, it's a decision that we made together. We had no choice but to do something for the kids. So we had to come together and decide, okay, that's what we will do. I knew in the moment that it wouldn't be easy for me. But when the reality hit me, it was worse than I imagined because I have to be the chauffeur, I have to be the doctor, the nurse, I have to be the mom sometime, the dad. I have to be at the school event, even my work schedule, I have to be around my kids, and everything I have to turn around them because I want to provide, but I also want to protect my kids. I don't want to leave my kids with so and so and just go after the money. I don't want to do that because I don't want to lose my children. I don't want to lose the bond that I can create with them. Their dad is not here. So I have to be here for them and be the safe place where they can run to. And sometimes it requires, as a mom, even if you are crying yourself, but you are hugging your children, or you take them, you pray with them, you laugh with them, but you go in your room and cry sometimes. You go in your room and say, God, will I be able to do this? How long I will be able to do that without my husband? How long? And I remember one day I called my husband and I told him, I don't know, but we have to put an expiration date on living apart because I need you. The kids need you. I don't know what we will do, but we have to do something. I will not let my children grow up, become teenagers without their dad. This is a choice that I would never make. So it's either you come here. If there's no way for you to come, let's see if we can find somewhere else. If we can't live in Haiti, that we can take the children together and live. And I thank God that I started this journey in coaching because this is something that I can take with me everywhere I decide to go. So my resilience comes from the fact that I know it's okay to not be able to bear everything, but I have strength from God. I have people that I can go to. I have family where I live right now. I'm living with my kids, but I have uncles that are checking on me. I have cousins that are checking on me, make sure I have food, make sure the kids are okay. These are blessings also that God put along my way that I am really grateful for. So I know it's hard, but I know inside of me, I'm not totally and completely by myself. And that's where my resilience come from.
Wow. Yeah, I teared up there a little bit, I have to be honest, because um, my husband comes home every day, and I think sometimes through the everyday activities of just getting up and going through life, school, work, routines, you lose track of the simple things that are important. But to hear you express how hard it is to be separated from your husband, and to be raising three children by yourself while your husband is across the ocean in a not so safe situation, I can only imagine. So God be with you, blessings and strength. And I hope you guys are able to be reunited soon. And even if it's not in the US, but some other place, some other country where you all can be together as a family. And I'm glad you have the perspective that it's not about the money.
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
So you mentioned that you coach, right? So you coach leaders on development. What have you learned about coaching others that you wish someone had coached you on earlier in your own journey as an immigrant?
Mm, a lot. A lot. Uh, when you when you move to a new country, you deal with your identity a lot. You question your identity. Why you should questioning your circumstances, your situation, but it takes you straight to your identity. That's the first thing. The second thing is the trauma you went through in life. Because I am really huge on healing and integrity and purpose and everything. You are at this point right now, but what are the trauma that you have lived that brought you to coaching? Because sometimes you will find out that the blockage, it's not the immigration situation in itself, but trauma that were hidden for a long, long, long time. I was sexually abused. So this trauma showed up everywhere I show up because I didn't know that I was so wounded and I needed to heal. And it showed in my leadership also. That's why I teach women in order for you to be a better leader, it's not only the skills, but you need to heal. You need to take care of this little girl that was wounded, that was abused. that needs love. You need to take care of her. And I've seen a lot of women, high position, but still needing, external validation, still dealing with rejection, still dealing with anger, or because this little girl inside is still wounded. And I wish when I was growing up, I had someone that could take me and teach me how to talk to that little girl inside of me. Because I got trauma even from how my mom raised me. I can say that, you know. Um, it is not funny, but my mom was so strict that there's some subject I had to learn outside of the home because I couldn't talk to my mom about them. And when you go outside of the house to learn, to get understanding, sometimes you don't get the right one. You get the wrong answers. But in the moment, it feels, right to you. So I had to unlearn a lot of things. I had to learn to sit with Lynda and coach Lynda. And I did that. I did that with myself. I had a coaching session with myself about some stuff that I knew I was dealing with. Then I took that video that I did and I sent it to my mentor because I wanted to be able to express what I felt inside, not in front of someone, but I wanted to be real to myself and then send it for feedback, for, comment or whatever she was thinking, she can think at that time. So you need to heal as a woman from a healed place will give you better result, will make you a better team member, and will make you also a better listener, because not only you understand what's going on inside of you, but you will understand what is going on with others. So I wish I knew that earlier, but thank God I know it now. So I can
Yes,
teach it
that's
to others.
powerful.
Yeah.
That's powerful. And I've listened to our coaching lane trainer at the John Maxwell team. She's so powerful. She's so powerful, my gosh. And she moves me to literally want to do exactly what she does. Like literally just sit down and listen to people and help them to find healing
Yes.
and to move forward in a powerful way towards what God has called them to do. So that is just amazing that you have healed and now you can help others find healing. So if
Yes.
a woman who
Yes.
just left everything she knows like you did picked up your book tomorrow, what is the one thing you most want her to walk away believing about herself?
Several things. First of all, even if you are navigating a new situation, a new country, whatever it is, that doesn't change anything when it comes to your identity. Once you know who you are, you grab that and you keep it wherever you go, whatever you're dealing with. The second thing, it's okay to reinvent yourself. You're not starting from nothing. You're starting with experience. You're starting with, the package that you are. And people will benefit from that package. People will benefit from you. Don't be afraid to show yourself to the world. I have a strong accent. And sometimes I'm listening to myself speaking English. I said, I think I'm speaking French, not English, you know. But I do it anyway because I know that my story goes beyond my nationality, my, my language, my culture. It's just a woman's story. And woman's story empower other women's stories. So I have to make sure that I get my story out there to help a sister. So I'm working on the accent. It's gonna get better. I'm improving. I'm improving, but I'm not gonna quiet myself just because I know I have an accent. Don't shrink yourself. Don't shrink yourself. Keep speaking. Keep talking. Keep bringing to the world whatever God puts inside of you. And I always says, I want to leave this world empty, empty, which means I give everything that I have inside of me. So when I go to the grave, it's just the body, but everything which is knowledge and everything, I give it all to the world. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. So don't let the world dictate you. Don't let them tell you who you should be. God already said who you are. Make sure you stand on what God said about you and go and do and be and keep shining.
Wow, that is so powerful. Thank you for sharing that. So, tell the people where they can find not just an immigrant, and where can they connect with you and your coaching or speaking work.
Okay. So the book is on Amazon already. They can get it there. I am on Facebook and LinkedIn. They can reach out, send me a DM, and we can get, if they're interested, a discovery call, and we can go from there because I also offer different program. I have a workshop that is my baby that I do. I go places to places and even virtually I do. That is called She, Her Purity, and Her Purpose, where I teach women about purity. And it's not only sexual purity, purity of the mind, purity in your relationships, purity in your thoughts patterns and everything. And then we talk about your purpose, your leadership, and we even touch sexual integrity, these type of things in the workshop. So I have different programs, but they can reach out to me on LinkedIn mostly and Facebook because that's where I am the most.
Wow, 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 wow. So you're covering some very sensitive subjects, some very needed, well needed conversation, I think, in the immigrant community because this particularly information, conversations around sexual integrity is such a taboo subject within the family space, within the community. A lot of times people have to go outside to find these healthier conversations and validations. And
Hmm.
so thank you for taking that on. And so, Dr. Charles, thank you so much for trusting us with this story. Haiti, the borders, the rebuilding, the faith underneath all of it. This is exactly the kind of story that reminds us that belonging is something we build, not something we're simply handed. Every day you wake up, it's a journey. You choose to be resilient. Even when you feel like you don't have it, you say a prayer, you get up again, and you ask for grace, extra strength to take another day, raise your children, keep, building your relationship with your husband who's across the seas, and deal with the parents who might not necessarily be happy that you've chosen a different career path to the one that they've spent so much money investing in. This is the immigrant journey. You've shared so much richness today. I'm so grateful for your honesty and authenticity. So the show always ends, right? Our signature close always ends with our faux pas. So I don't know if how many of our shows you've listened to, but some people have shared some very funny ones, some ones that cause all of us to cringe, but gladly we're out of them and we can look back and sometimes laugh and find the lessons in them. So what is the cultural faux pas you actually experienced navigating life between Haiti and the United States?
Hmm. I That's the things that came in mind when I'm thinking about that. The first thing, it's not. I won't describe it as funny, but for me, it made me think. I never knew. I'm not saying I never knew, but it wasn't a thing for me knowing that I am black until I came to America. I've always been black. I live in a black country, you know. I don't want to make it about race, but I never had to cross black American, black, It was never a thing for me. So when I came here, it's like, why? Why all of that? Like, we are human race. I understand, like, but I just feel inside of me, it's not okay. It's not okay to do it. But the second thing is the food. We eat very spicy. And there's always that thing between Asian food and Jamaican food. I love Jamaican food, by the way. But I go to an American church. So there's always that struggle with the food where, like my pastor says, people are allergic to spice. So when I'm eating, I'm like, where is the spice? Where is the spice? I can't. And I think that's make the world rich and beautiful. I am able to laugh at your cooking. You're laughing at my accent. I'm not off. It's not. Sometimes we take things very too personal, and I think that's why um, we have a lot of issues sometimes. Let's see each other for who we are, for what we bring to the table, not just because she's Asian. I am an American, she's black, I am white. I understand there's a difference, there's the culture and everything, but let us try to see each other first. Let us laugh with each other for real. Let us bring some realness in the relationship, because one thing that immigration can bring also is isolation. I choose to go to an American church because I wanted to understand the culture. I wanted i wanted to be with the people. I wanted to know what it is to be with American. I didn't want to come and just live in in the Asian community. I still go with my community. At one Sunday a month, I will visit an Asian church. I do that while I'm going to I have activities in my American church, because at the end of the day, we all belong to this earth. This earth, this world we are fighting for is not for us. God put us there. We all belong to this earth. So let's make life a beautiful experience for everyone. That's all I had to say.
Yes, thank you. So for everybody else who are listening, share your own cultural mistakes, cultural errors, things that you just didn't understand, things that may have been done differently in your own country, and then you came to the US and realized, oh, that's not how they do it here. Share those surprising moments that caught you off guard with us using the hashtag Decoding America FOPA. We'd love to hear them. Thank you so much, Dr. Charles, for joining us today and sharing your immigrant story with us, your Haitian American immigrant story.
Thank you so much for having me. The last thing I will say that I probably it's probably the way we pay bills here, the way we handle money. It's different from home. In Haiti, we don't have mortgage, for example. My husband and I we build our house from scratch. Like, we put the money together. He, because he's been working, and we did whatever we can to build our place. And we are quiet now. We are okay. We don't have a mortgage. Some bills are not automatic in Haiti. Let's say if you can be self-sufficient in electricity, like we have solar panel and things, you make your things work. But here you have all of that, and you have to be, to pay your bills on time. Do It's not so stressful in the Caribbean. That's one thing that hit me a lot. And one thing also, everything is quick in America. Everything is fast. People don't take the time to slow down. And this is a thing that didn't work for me in the beginning, because we are used to wake up in the morning, get our coffee, spend some time around the table, laugh together, and and go do our thing. But here, you don't see your family. Everybody is washing. That was a shock. That was my shock here. That was my shock. But I'm not bringing my children the way I'm teaching them. I'm not saying that I'm bringing them, to the culture the way it is in Haiti, but I want them to take the time to be with each other, to laugh with each other, to spend time with each other. And I make sure that I am in the home so they know that, okay, families have time for each other. Even when I'm working, I know, okay, I need to put the laptop down and go play in the living room with them for a moment, then go back to work. They know about my schedule, they know I'm working, they know I'm doing. But they know also that when it's time for mommy to come, mommy will come. Like today, I told them everything that I will do, I will make sure I'll be done by 2 p.m. today. Like every appointment that I have, because in the afternoon we'll have to play games. So I want them to know that's how, even if our family is not complete, but we can be together and do meaningful things. So cultural shock is a big thing, but adaptability is also a big thing that you should learn as an immigrant in order for you to grow in America. So thank
Definitely, it's essential. It's essential. The research talks about, some people think that it's the thing to do is to assimilate and give themselves up and to, do whatever you need to do to be accepted by people around you. But the research actually undergirds the idea that integrating your old culture and the new culture is the healthy way of doing it,
you.
not
Yes.
assimilating and losing yourself. So do whatever you can to hold on to who you are, and undergird that with your heritage, your values, and then you add in what the important parts of the U.S. culture that you need to adapt to in order to thrive and survive here. I talk about this in my book called Decoding America, and it's so important that we learn as immigrants how to adjust to life in a new country. So thank you so much, Dr. Charles. I wish you the very best with being reunited with your husband, Haiti, seeing a better day, your children being healthy, that you're in a safer place. And, we'll have to connect as it regards John Maxwell and possible collaborations in the future.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure for me, and I hope, as you said, that we can stay connected. I already look you on LinkedIn, so I will send you the invitation, and then also, if there's a way that we can collaborate in the future, I would gladly, want to be that to do that with you. So thank you so much, and may God bless you and keep you.
Thank you so much. Likewise. How do I say bonne journée or bon après-midi?
Oui. Bon après-midi. Good. Good. Merci ou même tout, which means
Merci.
thank
Merci.
you, you too.